I'm on my way. It wasn't me. I've read the terms and conditions. We all do it. According to a study by the University of Massachusetts, 60% of people will tell a lie within a 10-minute conversation. Most of the time, we view these as harmless, white lies, social lubricants designed to keep the peace or spare someone's feelings. We tend to think of lying as a moral choice or a character flaw. We think of it as something that happens out there in our relationships or our workplace. But science tells a different story. Lying is not just a social construct, it is a complex physiological event. When you tell a lie, a massive amount of neural machinery kicks into gear. Chemicals are released, blood flow shifts, and your brain actually physically changes. The scariest part? Recent research reveals that the brain adapts to dishonesty. Much like building a tolerance to a drug, the more you lie, the easier it becomes, and the less your brain warns you that you're doing something wrong. It is a slippery slope written into your biology. In this video, we're going to explore the neuroscience of deception. We will look at the heavy cognitive price your brain pays to maintain a lie, the snowball effect that turns small lies into massive webs of deceit, and the surprising physical health benefits of telling the truth. This is what happens to your brain when you lie. To understand why lying is so impactful, we first have to understand how difficult it is for the human brain to do it. We have to understand the anatomy of a lie. Telling the truth is effortless. It is a direct retrieval of stored memory. If I ask you what you had for breakfast, you simply access the memory and state the fact. It requires very little energy. Lying, however, is an endurance sport for your neurons. When you lie, your brain has to run two different reality simulations simultaneously. First, it has to hold the truth in your working memory so you know what not to say. Second, it has to fabricate a new reality that is plausible, fits with the known facts, and doesn't contradict previous lies. This creates what neuroscientists call cognitive load. Functional MRI scans show that when someone lies, their prefrontal cortex lights up like a Christmas tree. This is the area of the brain responsible for executive control, planning, and inhibiting impulses. It is working overtime to suppress the truth. Simultaneously, the limbic system, the emotional center of the brain, activates. This is because, evolutionarily, lying is a risk. We evolved in small tribes where being caught in a lie could mean expulsion and death. So even if you are just lying about why you were late to work, your brain initiates a mild stress response. This burns glucose. It depletes your mental energy. It's why you might feel physically exhausted after a day of faking it or navigating a complex deception. Your brain is literally burning more fuel to keep the story straight. So lying is hard work. But if it's so stressful, why do people get so good at it? Why do some people seem to lie without blinking an eye? This brings us to a groundbreaking study published in Nature Neuroscience by Dr. Tali Sharot and her team at University College London. They wanted to know if the brain gets used to lying. They focused on the amygdala. The amygdala is two almond-shaped clusters of nuclei deep in the brain, often associated with fear and emotion. It acts as the brain's alarm system. When you tell a lie, especially the first time, the amygdala produces a negative feeling. That pang of guilt, that sweaty palm feeling, that little voice saying, "Don't do this," that is your amygdala screaming. But here is what the researchers found. The brain is incredibly adaptive. In the study, participants were given an opportunity to lie for financial gain. The first time they lied, the amygdala response was strong. But as they continued to lie, the response faded. The signal got weaker and weaker. By the end of the experiment, participants were telling massive lies, and their amygdalas were barely firing at all. This is known as emotional adaptation. It's the same mechanism that happens when you smell a strong perfume. At first, it's overpowering, but after 20 minutes, you can't smell it anymore. Your brain stops reporting the signal because it's constant. This proves that pathological liars aren't necessarily born. They are made. Small white lies desensitize the brain to dishonesty. Once the alarm bell stops ringing for the small stuff, it becomes incredibly easy to move on to the big stuff: fraud, infidelity, and major betrayal, without feeling a thing. We've talked about the brain, but what about the body? Because the brain and body are connected, the act of lying has systemic consequences for your physical health. Remember the stress response we mentioned? When you lie, your body enters a state of high alert. This triggers the release of cortisol and norepinephrine. These are stress hormones. In short bursts, they are useful. But chronic lying keeps your system in a low-grade fight or flight mode. If you are living a life where you are constantly covering your tracks, whether it's hiding an addiction, an affair, or just pretending to be someone you aren't at work, you are bathing your organs in cortisol. Elevated cortisol levels are linked to a weakened immune system, high blood pressure, digestive issues, and even memory loss. Specifically, the hippocampus, the part of the brain responsible for learning and memory, is highly sensitive to stress. Chronic stress from maintaining deception can actually shrink the hippocampus. This creates a cruel irony. To be a good liar, you need a great memory to keep your stories straight. But the stress of lying damages the very part of the brain you need to remember the lies. Now that we know the damage lying does, is it possible to reverse it? Can we repair the honesty alarm in our amygdala? The answer seems to be yes, and the benefits of doing so are profound. Let's look at the Science of Honesty study conducted by Dr. Anita Kelly at the University of Notre Dame. She recruited 110 people and split them into two groups. The control group was told to just live their lives as normal. The second group, the no-lie group, was given a strict instruction. For 10 weeks, they could not tell a single lie. Not a big lie, and not a white lie. They could refuse to answer a question, but if they spoke, it had to be the truth. The results were staggering. By the end of the 10 weeks, the no-lie group reported significantly fewer physical health complaints than the control group. They had fewer headaches, fewer sore throats, and less anxiety. Why? Because they eliminated the cognitive load. When you commit to the truth, you don't have to keep track of anything. You don't have to simulate false realities. You don't have to worry about being found out. Your prefrontal cortex can relax. Your cortisol levels drop. Furthermore, the study found that their relationships improved. It turns out that while we think white lies protect relationships, they actually create distance. Authentic honesty, even when it's difficult, builds trust and intimacy. So, how do we break the cycle? If your amygdala has already been desensitized, how do you reset it? Here are 3 practical steps to start rewiring your brain for honesty. Strategy 1. Identify your lying triggers. Most people lie for one of 2 reasons: to protect themselves out of fear, or to impress others out of pride. Start observing yourself. When do you feel the urge to fudge the truth? Is it when you are running late? Is it when someone asks how much money you make? Is it when you want to get out of a dinner plan? Awareness is the first step. Once you identify the trigger, you can prepare a truthful response in advance. Instead of lying about traffic, you simply say, "I left too late, I'm sorry." Strategy 2. The just this once rule. Beware of the phrase "just this once." That is the trap. That is the moment your amygdala begins to desensitize. To retrain your brain, you have to resist the small lies. You have to treat the small lies with the same seriousness as the big ones. If someone asks if you like their shirt, and you don't have to be cruel, but you don't have to lie. You can find a neutral truth or simply say, "It's not really my style, but I love the color." Every time you choose the uncomfortable truth over the easy lie, you are strengthening the neural pathways of integrity. Strategy 3. The correction method. If you catch yourself slipping, if a lie pops out of your mouth out of habit, correct it immediately. This is terrifying but powerful. Stop yourself and say, "Actually, I don't know why I said that. That wasn't true." The reality is, this sends a massive signal to your brain that lying is not an acceptable default. It halts the desensitization process and re-engages your executive control. We live in a world where deception is often rewarded, where "fake it till you make it" is legitimate career advice, and where social media filters distort our reality. But your brain knows the difference. Every lie you tell leaves a biological footprint. It taxes your energy, it spikes your stress hormones, and it dulls your ability to feel guilt. It distances you from reality and from the people around you. The good news is that the brain is plastic. It can change. You can choose right now to step off the slippery slope. It won't be easy. The truth is often uncomfortable. It is often messy. But it is also the only thing that allows your brain to function at its peak. So, try the Notre Dame challenge. Try one day, just 24 hours, of radical honesty. See how much lighter you feel. See how much quieter your mind becomes. Because in the end, the truth doesn't just set you free, it keeps you healthy. Thanks for watching. If you found this fascinating, hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the human mind. We'll see you in the next one.